Hi class, my name is Antonia Hernandez, and this is my final presentation for Psychology 101.
For Psychology 101.
The psychologist that I chose to do my final presentation on is Elizabeth Loftus. She is a famous American psychologist, and she was born on October 16, 1944. She has conducted extensive research on the malleability of human memory, and she is best known for her studies of human memory and their application to forensic settings. Loftus has close experiences with the fertility and fallibility of the human memory, as at a family gathering for her 44th birthday, her uncle told her that she had been the one to find her mother's body floating in the pool after a drowning incident. And this was when she was a young in age. Before that, she had remembered very little about the incident, but after her uncle made the comment, the details suddenly began to come back. A few days later, she discovered that her uncle had been mistaken, and that it was actually her aunt who discovered her mother after the drowning. All it took to trigger false memories was a simple comment from a family member, illustrating how easily human memory can be influenced by suggestion. Her own experiments have revealed that not only is human memory often surprisingly unreliable, but that it is also prone to errors and susceptible to suggestion. In other words, your brain can make up memories to fill in gaps of information that is not known. And then her theory added to the debate of repressed memories, which repressed memories are memories that are pushed away from regular awareness and then come into regular thought years later. Loftus suggested that perhaps repressed memories are not memories of actual events, but rather ideas that are created from a combination of waking and dreaming situations. So maybe stuff that you heard about the incident from other people, if it came on the news, or if it was on the newspaper. Loftus has not only authored numerous books and articles, but she has also appeared on a variety of television programs. And then these programs include 60 Minutes, The Oprah Show, and she has also testified at many trials. And then these include the famous one of Ted Bundy, and then George Franklin, the child murderer. Loftus has not only authored numerous The Loftus and Palmer experiment in 1974 is a study that focuses on the applied memory of the brain that is eyewitness testimony. And eyewitness testimony is an evidence form used in the court systems that relies heavily on the memory of the eyewitness. And then this was true up until Loftus considered the reliability of memory, and then the court system assumed that the memory of the eyewitness was highly accurate. And this was until the experiment, and then it is aimed at investigating the ways that memory can be influenced by post-event information. The aims and the hypothesis of the study was that they both believed that leading questions could affect the recall and those asked to provide eyewitness testimony, and their aim was to test whether leading questions would affect a recall of the speed of a car and cause people to misremember details. Particularly in this case, it was the presence of broken glass during a traffic accident, and in the initial video they showed there was actually no broken glass. The Loftus and Palmer tested their hypothesis by setting up two lab experiments. So the first experiment involved asking a sample of 45 patients, and they were each divided into 5 different groups. And then each group was asked a particular question utilizing a different word and then a different verb. And the 5 different verbs were smashed, collided, bumped, hit, and contacted. And this was after having watched a video of a car accident. In their question, they were asked what speed were cars traveling when they collided during an accident. For example, one group was asked how fast were the cars traveling when they smashed. The second experiment was conducted similar to the first. In this experiment, there was 150 students, and they were split into 3 different groups of 50, and they were each shown a clip of multiple car accidents. The first group of 50 were asked the question, how fast were the cars traveling when they hit? The second group was asked the same question, but they were asked with the verb smash. So how fast were the cars traveling when they smashed? And then the third group, which was the control group, was not asked a question at all. As I mentioned earlier, a few days later, without watching the video again, they were asked 10 questions. And then there was one question randomly placed on the list, and the question was, did you see any broken glass? Yes or no? There was no broken glass on the original. What were their findings? In the first experiments, if questions were phrased using more emotive words, for example, smashed, people would overestimate the speed that the cars were going during an accident. For example, if people were asked how fast were the cars traveling when they smashed, they estimated that the cars were traveling approximately 41 miles an hour, compared to a lower mile per hour with questions asked how fast were they traveling when they contacted. And in this case, it was mostly 32 miles per hour. In the second experiment, respondents who were asked with the question with the verb smashed were more likely to report seeing broken glass. Loftus and Palmer have 2 explanations for this. First, it's what they call the responsible bias factor. And in other words, it's the way that the question was phrased influenced the person's answer, making them overestimate the speed of the car as depending on which verb was used. However, their memories of the event were not affected. And the second explanation is that a person's memory and perception of the event would change as a result of the question, and this false memory would be stored in their memory. This seems to be confirmed by the second experiment, as the participants remembered seeing broken glass, illustrating the leading question can change the way an eyewitness remembers an event. The implications of the study. So the data gathered by this study and the findings of Loftus and Palmer could have actually profound consequences for the judiciary, the police, and the criminal justice system, as eyewitness testimony, which is the reporting of the event, changes. The memory of the event constantly changes, and it can be changed by the way in which the interviewer phrases the questions, depending on how they worded. And Loftus has appeared in many trials and has used her discoveries.